Hello there, I'm Newton here, and I've rebuilt that GDK to run in Visual Studio 2010. So this is a quick video on how to get it set up and running. So I've already got the zip file available on the forum post, so I'm just going to extract that into my desktop. Okay, inside that you'll have a lib folder, should I say, and a sample folder. So we'll ignore the sample folder for now. Let's just got a sample project all set up, sort of ready to go. Just give you some example code. And the first thing we need to do is copy the two folders within the lib folder to our games creators folder. So that's on to the C drive. I'm on 64-bit, so it's program files x86 for me, and then down to the game creators, .gdk library, and I've already got them here, so if you just want to paste them in there, I'll overwrite it just to show you that I've done everything exactly the same. So overwrite every file. There we go, that's the library side done, so we can close that window. Next job is to launch Visual Studio 2010. Right, we're now on the home page of Visual 2010. I've got the Ultimate Edition free from the Microsoft Academic Alliance next to my university. So we want to make a new project, and we want a Win32 project and give it a name. It doesn't want to save there. I'll just save it to my desktop for now, and give it a name GDK example. Obviously call it relevant to your project name. Create that. It's produced with a wizard. Go to next. You want an empty project and you want a Windows application, and finish. Let it do its thing and make your project. Next we need to add a new item to the source files. So C++ file main.cpp, and there's that. Right, so that's the basic setup. The next job is to add the dependencies. So if you right click on the project name and properties, we'll set up debug first, and it's basically the same for the release version, apart from you lose the release version of the libraries for .gdk. So in fact, what we'll do is we'll go to all configurations on the configuration. It should save us some time. For the Visual C++ directories, which is different in 2010 compared with 2008, because you could do global ones in 2008. You can't do that in 2010, which in my opinion is a bad idea, but anyway. So you want to set the include directories. So first job is to go to where we just copied the libraries, which is in the game creators folder. Choose that GDK library. This is where it depends on which build you're doing, because we're doing all configurations. I'll just do Visual Studio 2010 for now, and then we'll add debug to. In fact, I don't know. This is the include folder. We don't want to do that at all. Ignore that. You want to go back and you want to go to the include folder. Select that. So that's the same on both debug and release. Next, you need to add the DirectX. Now it has to be a certain version of DirectX. It has to be the same version for 2008. It's the Microsoft DirectX XDK August 2007. That's the one we want. And the include. Right, that's the include setup. Now for the libraries. Basically the same again, but to the library folders of both of the previous folders. So C drive, program files, the game creators, library. Now this is where it gets weird on this one, because we want the debug for the debug, the release for the release. So I'll apply it to that, just the standard one, and we'll change that in a second. And then we want Microsoft August 2007 libraries x86 folder. Right, that gives us that. Then if we click apply, then go to debug, on or active in this case, but debug, and then change the library location for that to the game creators GDK library debug solution, and that way that's got the debug libraries. Okay, right, there is also because we're using, go back to all configurations, yes, we want to save the changes. Because we're using such an old version of the DirectX SDK, we also have to overwrite a certain file. To do this, we just tell it to re-include the Microsoft SDK last, so the latest versions are included. So C drive, program files, Microsoft SDKs, Windows 7 include. Select. Make sure that's at the top. I think that's the right order. It shouldn't matter as long as the Microsoft SDK is at the top. It should be okay. And then apply that. So that should be our project set up. The next job is to write some sample code. So hash include GDK. It's exactly the same as how you'd write for Visual Studio 2007. So that should be no problem for most people. So our main entry point, return on the sync. If you can hear that, that's my PC crying in the background. Yeah, sorry about that. It'll be quiet in a minute. It's a bit warm in my room. Set the sync rate. Set up the main loop. Suppose just to make sure it's working, we can add some text. And that's some text added. So all going well. I haven't tested this, I've just kind of gone through it from scratch. So all being well, this will now compile and run. And there you go. That's the .GDK compiling on 2010. And it should also work for release builds. All being well. There you go. So I hope you like that. Unfortunately, we can't get any of Data Physics, Dark AI, etc. to work with it because they all need rebuilding for 2010, and the source code hasn't been released for them plugins. So it's just the core. But obviously, Data Physics is just NVIDIA's physics, so you can include that perfectly fine. So I hope this helps. Cheers.